So some people don't understand the true reason behind the Oslo taxi deal and why it's quite unique, quite interesting, the real reason behind it. And I gotta explain it in terms of what's happening here in China. Once I get the story, you guys understand the story, you'll know why the taxi company made a very smart move by choosing NIO. Quite recently, in the city of Baoding, which is just south of Beijing, the bus company over there, they run a fleet of all electric buses. They had to shut down. The reason, very, very interesting. And this is also the reason why companies gotta choose NIO, a car that is capable of battery swapping in the future. So what happened? They had these electric buses that they got back in 2015, but apparently because of time, the battery warranty for those buses ran out. What's unfortunate is that also because of time, those batteries on the buses were deemed a health hazard, potential hazard. So the bus company had to stop operating some of those buses. Now, because they stopped operating some of those buses, their revenues shrunk. And because the revenue shrunk, they couldn't replace the batteries on those buses. It became a huge burden that they could not afford. And then as a result, the bus company completely shut down. Can you imagine? A bus company completely shut down. They got no money to replace the batteries. They can't operate the existing buses because it's a health hazard. So you see, in the future, of course, everything is going to be electrified, but you have to be able to swap out the batteries. You see Hertz, the car rental company in America, with their massive Tesla deal, getting a bunch of Teslas. That's really sweet for now, but wait a few years when that warranty runs out, some of the batteries start going bad, deemed a health hazard, and you have no way of swapping out the battery, no way of changing the battery. It's going to become a huge health hazard, and it's going to become a liability, and the company is going to be forced to write that off. Whereas with NIO, you can swap as much as you want. You can let NIO take care of the battery health problem, and you're never going to be stuck with a bad battery. So even when a warranty runs out for your NIO, you're still capable of battery swapping, and you're never going to encounter this problem that the bus company encountered. And it's not going to become a huge financial burden 4 or 5 years down the line. That's why the Norway taxi cab company is really smart. You have to buy EVs that are capable of battery swap, or else they just become a huge burden. Even here in China, you see some of these NIOs become taxis in certain cities, and then also police cars as well, because these guys are smart. They know that if I want longevity in this product, and it's a thing that we're going to use for a long time, and not just drive it and then drive a few years, it's going to be a long time, at least 6 years plus, then you have to be able to do battery swap. So for the taxi cab company in Norway to choose NIO, they have potentially saved themselves from a massive battery replacement bill 5 or 6 years down the line. Or even worse, if the batteries can't be replaced because of structural battery pack, which I think, all those Tesla fanboys are like, structural battery pack is the next level thing. It's the best use of space, and you get the best range. Bro, if one cell in that battery pack goes bad, and it's a safety hazard, well, you're gonna replace the whole entire structure? What? How are you gonna replace the whole entire structure, man? You're gonna have to buy a new Tesla. The other phenomenon that we're noticing here in China is because the charging fees vary during peak hours and non-peak hours, all the cab drivers, taxis, like this one in front of me, electric cab, all these guys, and also like Ubers, etc. here in China, they're all charging at midnight when the electricity fees are the cheapest. And they're all fighting for chargers back then, really damaging their sleep schedule. And we've seen some of these videos where some of these drivers, they completely collapse and just die. But they got no choice. They want to earn money, so they gotta charge at the cheapest times. They're waiting in line for those chargers, and then also spending so much of the time where they could be resting. Whereas with, of course, a battery swap, it's fast, quick, and sometimes even cheaper than charging. if the taxi cab has to charge 1 hour, spend 1 hour on charging every single day, then throughout the week, that's 7 hours wasted just on charging times. Whereas with a NIO, you would be able to utilize those 7 more hours and be able to pick up more customers, do more orders. That's why you're seeing here in China, a lot of these taxi cabs can already battery swap. They understand that time is money and that time is also rest. So all those Alton battery swap stations, those are specifically used by those taxis. And also think about it this way. For example, if you want to go from Berlin to Paris, say that all the taxis in the future are electrified and they're taking a taxi over there. With normal EVs, you can't, the range isn't enough to get you there without charging in the middle. And if you're charging in the middle, you're on the clock. The customer has to pay money while we're waiting for charging. Whereas with swap, it's just swap and go. You don't have to waste customers' time. Better yet, with a NIO, if you want to make those long distance road trips, long distance taxi rides, you can swap into the 150 kilowatt hour battery pack that's coming out very soon and essentially double your range. And that could get you where you want to go without having to charge or swap in between. So it's very smart that the taxi cab company realized all these benefits. And in the future, guys, you pretty much have to buy an EV that is capable of battery swap. Otherwise, it's just a trap. It's a trap, guys. Because a few years later, once the battery warranty runs out, you're just gonna be screwed. So this deal with the Oslo taxi cab company, this is gonna be the first of many. Once people start realizing the true benefits of battery swap and how important it is, and I think a couple years later, once you see Hertz write off those Teslas as liabilities because they can't replace the batteries, that's when people are gonna realize, oh man, we really gotta choose NIO. We really gotta choose a car that is capable of battery swapping. That's when you're gonna see a lot of these taxi cab companies, even more of them, work with NIO, buy their cars instead of the other EV guys. So that is the real reason why Oslo taxi cab company chose NIO. And of course, you also got NOP Plus. NIO Pilot makes the commute so much less stressful, especially here on traffic. And there's not much I have to do. Just keep my hands on the steering wheel. That's it. Even for my first gen NIO, it's just so convenient. But the main reason is still to do with batteries. There is no other choice, guys. Really. Otherwise, you're just walking into a trap. See you in the next one. Peace out.